2 weeks ago, a customer brought in her 2020 Honda Accord with only 52,000 miles on it. The engine was misfiring, rough idle, check engine light flashing. She'd been religious about maintenance, oil changes every 5,000 miles, genuine Honda parts, everything by the book. So what went wrong? I pulled the spark plugs and immediately knew. They were coated in a thick reddish-brown deposit I'd never seen before. Not carbon, not oil fouling, something else entirely. I removed the intake manifold to inspect the valves. What I saw made my stomach drop. The intake valves were coated with the same reddish-brown residue. It was like someone had spray painted the inside of her engine with rust. But it wasn't rust. It was contamination from gasoline. Bad gasoline. I asked her where she'd been filling up. "The cheapest station near my house," she said. "I've been going there for 2 years." Is that bad? Yes, it was very bad. That cheap gas had been slowly destroying her Honda's direct injection system. The fuel injectors were clogged. The intake valves were fouled. The combustion chambers had deposits that were causing pre-ignition. The repair bill? $2,400 to clean the fuel system, replace the injectors, and walnut blast the valves. All because she'd been using contaminated gasoline from a station that didn't maintain its fuel quality. I've been wrenching for 19 years, and I'm seeing this problem more and more. Certain gasoline brands and stations are selling fuel that's destroying Japanese engines, especially modern direct injection engines in Hondas, Toyotas, Mazdas, and Subarus. In this video, I'm exposing which gasoline brands are dangerous, how to identify contaminated fuel, and which stations you should never use if you want your Japanese car to last. Let's get into it. The problem with modern direct injection engines. Before I explain which gasoline brands are problematic, you need to understand why modern Japanese engines are so vulnerable to fuel contamination. Older port injection engines sprayed fuel into the intake manifold, where it mixed with air before entering the combustion chamber. That fuel spray also washed the intake valves, keeping them clean. Modern direct injection engines spray fuel directly into the combustion chamber. This is more efficient, but it has one critical drawback. The intake valves never get washed by fuel. They're exposed to blow-by gases, oil vapor, and combustion byproducts with no cleaning mechanism. This makes direct injection engines extremely sensitive to fuel quality. Any contaminants in the gasoline get burned in the combustion chamber and leave deposits on the intake valves, piston tops, and spark plugs. Here's where it gets worse. Japanese engines are tuned more aggressively than American or European engines. They run hotter, have higher compression ratios, and operate at tighter tolerances. This means they're more sensitive to poor fuel quality. A Toyota 2.5-liter engine running contaminated fuel will develop deposits faster than a comparable American V6. A Honda 1.5T turbo will suffer turbo failures from fuel contamination that wouldn't affect a Ford EcoBoost. Japanese engines demand higher fuel quality, but most American drivers don't know this. They fill up at whatever station is cheapest, and years later, they're dealing with expensive fuel system repairs. The gasoline brands and stations to avoid. Here's the list based on 19 years of pattern recognition in my shop. These brands and station types consistently produce the worst fuel-related problems in Japanese vehicles. Independent no-name stations. The absolute worst offenders are independent gas stations with no major brand affiliation. These stations typically have the cheapest prices in town, and there's a reason for that. They buy fuel from secondary distributors who source from whoever has the cheapest supply. This fuel may be stored in old, contaminated tanks. Old fuel develops sediment, water contamination, and bacterial growth. When that fuel reaches your tank, all those contaminants come with it, improperly blended. Ethanol separation is common when fuel sits too long or isn't properly mixed. You might get 5% ethanol one fill-up and 15% the next. Your engine's computer can't adapt fast enough, causing rough running and deposits. Off-spec. Some secondary distributors sell fuel that technically meets EPA minimums but has minimal detergent additives. Your engine runs, but deposits accumulate rapidly. I've traced dozens of fuel system failures back to specific independent stations. One station in my area has sent me 6 customers in the past year, all with the same intake valve deposit problems. If a station has no recognizable brand name and the cheapest prices in town, avoid it. The money you save on fuel will cost you thousands in repairs. Racetrack and some regional discount chains. This one surprises people, but hear me out. Racetrack and similar regional discount chains have inconsistent fuel quality depending on location. Some racetrack locations maintain excellent fuel quality. Others have old underground tanks, slow turnover, and contamination issues. The problem is you can't tell which is which from the outside. I've seen patterns. Racetrack stations in high-traffic areas near highways tend to have good fuel. Stations in rural areas with low turnover tend to have problems. The same applies to Quick Trip in some regions, Speedway in others, and various regional chains. High turnover locations are usually safe. Low turnover locations are risky. How do you know if your station has good turnover? Look at how busy it is. If you rarely see other cars fueling, the fuel is sitting in underground tanks for weeks, absorbing moisture and degrading. Any station after a tanker delivery. This applies to all brands, even the good ones. Never fill up immediately after you see a fuel tanker making a delivery. When a tanker pumps thousands of gallons of fresh fuel into underground tanks, it stirs up all the sediment and contamination that's settled at the bottom. That stirred up contamination gets pumped straight into your car's fuel system. I've had customers develop fuel system problems within days of filling up right after a delivery. The pattern is consistent and well documented. If you see a tanker at your station, wait 24 hours before filling up. That gives the sediment time to settle back to the bottom where it belongs. Stations in rural or low-traffic areas. Fuel degrades over time. Ethanol absorbs moisture. Gasoline oxidizes. Additives break down. All of this happens faster when fuel sits in underground tanks for extended periods. Stations in rural areas or low-traffic locations have slow turnover. The fuel you're pumping might have been in that tank for 3 or 4 weeks. By that point, it's degraded significantly. Japanese engines with direct injection are particularly sensitive to this degraded fuel. The oxidation products and moisture contamination cause deposits that conventional engines might tolerate, but Japanese engines won't. Stick with busy stations on major roads. The fuel is fresher because it's sold faster. If you made it this far, then consider liking this video, giving it a thumbs up, and subscribing to my channel. This helps me bring you more honest car advice. The gasoline brands you should use. Now let's talk about the brands that consistently deliver high-quality fuel suitable for Japanese engines. Costco, best overall value. Every single Costco fuel sample I've tested or seen tested meets or exceeds top-tier standards. They source directly from major refineries, maintain their tanks meticulously, and have extremely high turnover. I've never, not once in 19 years, seen a fuel system problem traced back to Costco gasoline. Their fuel is clean, properly blended, and has excellent detergent packages. The only downside is availability. Not everyone has a Costco membership or lives near one, but if you do, use it exclusively. Chevron and Texaco. Chevron's Techron additive package is the gold standard for fuel detergents. Independent testing consistently shows Chevron fuel keeps engines cleaner than competitors. I've seen engines with 200,000 miles that used Chevron exclusively. The intake valves looked nearly new. That's the power of quality detergent additives. Texaco stations, owned by Chevron, use the same fuel and additives. Both are excellent choices for Japanese vehicles. Shell V-Power has one of the highest detergent concentrations available. Their regular unleaded also meets top-tier standards. Shell stations tend to have good turnover and modern underground tanks. Contamination issues are rare. The only caveat, Shell Premium V-Power is significantly better than their regular. If you have a turbocharged engine or high compression engine, the premium is worth the extra cost. Exxon and Mobil generally reliable, especially at high-traffic locations. Their fuel meets top-tier standards and has good detergent packages. I've seen slightly more variability with Exxon/Mobil than with Chevron or Shell, but problems are still rare compared to discount brands. Marathon. Surprisingly good, especially in the Midwest. Marathon stations have consistently shown good fuel quality in testing, and I rarely see problems traced to their fuel. How to identify contaminated fuel. Sometimes you fill up at a new station and wonder if the fuel is good. Here's how to tell if you've gotten bad gas. Immediate signs. Within 100 miles. Rough idle or hesitation that wasn't there before. The engine's computer is struggling to adapt to off-spec fuel. Reduced power or sluggish acceleration. Contaminated fuel has lower energy content and burns less efficiently. Check engine light for lean or rich codes. The oxygen sensors detect abnormal combustion from bad fuel, knocking or pinging under acceleration. Water contamination or low octane causes pre-ignition. If you experience any of these symptoms immediately after filling up, the fuel is suspect. Drain the tank, replace the fuel filter, and fill up somewhere else. Long-term signs. After months of use. Gradual loss of fuel economy. Deposits on intake valves and injectors reduce efficiency over time. Rough cold starts. Deposits interfere with proper fuel atomization when the engine is cold. Misfires at idle. Fouled spark plugs from contaminated fuel cause random misfires. Increased oil consumption. Fuel contamination can wash oil off cylinder walls, increasing wear and consumption. If you've been using the same station for months and these symptoms develop gradually, the fuel quality is likely the cause. The cost of using bad gasoline. Let me break down the actual financial impact of using contaminated fuel in a Japanese vehicle. Short-term damage, within 50,000 miles. Fouled spark plugs, $200 to $400 to replace. Clogged fuel filter, $150 to $300 to replace. Contaminated fuel injectors, $600 to $1,200 to clean or replace. Medium-term damage, 50,000 to 100,000 miles. Carbon buildup on intake valves, $800 to $1,500 for walnut blasting service. Damaged oxygen sensors, $400 to $800 for replacement. Contaminated catalytic converter, $1,200 to $2,500 for replacement. Long-term damage, 100,000 plus miles. Piston ring damage from contamination, $2,500 to $4,000 for repair. Turbo failure from deposits, turbocharged engines, $2,000 to $3,500 for replacement. Complete fuel system overhaul, $3,000 to $5,000. Add it all up, and using bad gasoline for 100,000 miles can cost you $10,000 or more in unnecessary repairs. Compare that to the cost of using premium fuel brands. If Costco charges $3.50 per gallon and a cheap independent station charges $3.30 per gallon, you save 20 cents per gallon at the cheap station. Over 100,000 miles at 30 miles per gallon, you'll use about 3,333 gallons. That's a savings of $667 over 100,000 miles by using cheap gas. But you'll spend $10,000 or more fixing the damage that cheap gas caused. You're not saving money, you're setting yourself up for massive repair bills. How to protect your Japanese engine. Here's my recommendation for keeping your Japanese car's fuel system healthy. Use only top-tier certified brands. Stick with Costco, Chevron, Shell, Exxon, Mobil, or Marathon. Avoid independent stations and discount chains with questionable fuel quality. Use fuel system cleaner additives. Every 5,000 miles, add a bottle of Chevron Techron or Redline SI1 to your tank. This supplements the fuel's detergent package and helps prevent deposits. Keep your tank above half full. This minimizes the amount of air in the tank, which reduces moisture accumulation and oxidation. Avoid filling up right after tanker deliveries. Wait 24 hours after seeing a delivery truck. Check your fuel cap seal. A worn or loose fuel cap allows moisture into your tank. Replace it every 50,000 miles. Replace your fuel filter on schedule. Even good fuel has some contamination. The filter catches it before it reaches your engine. Don't skip this maintenance. If you suspect bad fuel, act immediately. Drain the tank, replace the filter, and fill up with premium fuel from a top-tier brand. Don't keep driving on suspect fuel hoping it gets better. The bottom line: your Japanese car's engine is a precision machine designed to run on high-quality fuel. When you use cheap, contaminated gasoline, you're slowly poisoning that engine. The money you save at the pump today will cost you thousands in repairs tomorrow. It's not worth it. Stick with top-tier brands. Use Costco, Chevron, Shell, or other quality suppliers. Avoid independent stations and discount chains with questionable fuel. Your engine will run cleaner, last longer, and give you hundreds of thousands of trouble-free miles. That's the whole point of buying a Japanese car in the first place. Don't destroy your reliable engine with cheap fuel. Use the right gasoline, and your Toyota, Honda, Mazda, or Subaru will reward you with decades of dependable service. If you found these tips helpful, be sure to watch this next video as I am sharing insider tips to help you cut repair costs and keep your car running like new.